Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and transfer news and takeover update news show and just general football chit chat show because we've got Barcelona tomorrow and everybody put your prediction in the chat for tomorrow's game. How are you feeling? I feel confident and I will tell you in a second why. However, it's not always good to feel confident because the amount of Liverpool fans yesterday that told me they were going to beat Real Madrid, that felt really confident. Liverpool go 2-0 up and they're saying they're back, top four race on, they're going to get the Champions League. Liverpool fans were telling me within 10 minutes of that Real Madrid game, they are back, they are confident. And you know what the best thing about that Real Madrid game was? Liverpool fans got their hopes up. They truly believed they were back. They were playing well for 10 minutes. They thought, wow, we've won our last game. This is good. We're winning another game. We've beat Madrid. The Champions League's on. Liverpool fans got their hopes up. They believed they were back. They were believed their blip of shitness was over. And then they went and conceded 5 at home to Real Madrid, baby. And reports coming out that Klopp is set to resign. I think it would happen after the second leg. They're going to give him time to see if he can turn it around the second leg. But lots of reports coming out that Klopp is done out here. And the best thing about it is Liverpool have been told they're not getting a takeover, and FSG are going to say Klopp could be leaving. They're in the mud. They're shit. I mean, Joe Gomez, is he? You know what? Joe Gomez makes me appreciate Harry Maguire. He is shit. Liverpool, Fabinho, what's happened to him? I had Liverpool fans beginning of the season telling me that Casemiro wouldn't even touch Fabinho. Casemiro starts from Brazil for a reason, and he always has. But I had Liverpool fans telling me that Fabinho was clear of Casemiro. And once upon a time, Fabinho was probably arguably the best team in the world. It was fantastic that year. The Liverpool were really good. Fuck off. Fabinho. Joe Gomez. Man United play Liverpool in the next Premier League game, but unlike Liverpool, United want bigger and better things. We've got a match against Barcelona that we should win, considering Barcelona's away record, our home record, the fact that we were the better team at the Nou Camp. As long as Barca don't pay the ref, this is a big potentially European win for United. Who then would probably be up there with Arsenal's favourites to win the Europa League. There are some obviously big tough teams in the Europa League. Ajax reportedly desperate to play United in the Europa League. Ten Hag will knock you out. So I bet we'll get someone like Ajax next if we do beat Barcelona in the Europa League. But I mean, Liverpool are crying, and Man United have got a big game against Barcelona and a cup final this week. And this is a big, big week. And as you can see, as you're aware, I'm sure if you've been reading the media, Ten Hag's been out for meals with Ferguson. Rio's come to training. Robin Van Persie's come to training because it's a massive week for United. A Barcelona second leg game, which is a massive game despite being Europa League qualifier. It's that kind of Champions League semi-final feeling to it in a weird sense. Obviously not, but you know what I mean. Like it's a Champions League game, but it's a Europa League game. But it feels like a Champions League game. And you know what? I'm really glad we drew Barcelona because I think the Europa League, when you're playing these shit teams, even though you can rest and rotate players, it's boring. Europa League, you do pay the Wi-Fi passwords, and to be playing people like maybe Barcelona potentially down the line, maybe Ajax, Juventus, Arsenal, I'm more up for the Europa League this season than ever. I think it's going to be a six Europa League season, but we've got a cup final at the weekend. We've got a massive week going, and Ten Hag is cooking something special. And I tell you what, Xavi is scared. People are scared. And Alex B says people are screwed either way. Klopp burned out the squad, and he won't be easy to replace if he goes. Exactly. We're going to talk about Paul. Why did I say people? I don't know. Liverpool are in the mud. Oh, I've been playing my own video, apparently. I didn't even know I had my own video open in a tab, but it's just been playing. So not sure why, but there we go. That's probably so. If we had a bit of stream lag, that'll be why, because I've accidentally just been watching my own video this whole time. Biggest fan of myself, what can I say? But as said, Liverpool are maybe finished. Maybe not. But Ten Hag said, he admires Klopp and he admires Pep, and he very much admires what Klopp and Pep have done. But he said all eras come to an end. And Man City are in financial trouble. Obviously, it's going to take a while to prove it, even though we all know they're dodgy and they've not done something right with their books. Obviously, they have to prove it. That will be a process. It could very much be the end of the Klopp and Man City era. Klopp doesn't want anything to do with, what Man City could allegedly be doing. Not Klopp, Pep, sorry. But it could be the end of the Klopp era where if he doesn't turn it around versus Real Madrid, this could be the end of Klopp according to reports. And this is, imagine this. It's like it's all coming together, in my opinion. Maybe just my opinion. But we basically then have Klopp leaving Liverpool, as Man United get new rich owners, as Ten Hag's had a brilliant first season. So Ten Hag's coming to United. He's had a brilliant first season. He's building something special. He's building a philosophy. He's building a squad. He Ten Hag is building something, and he's building something particularly special. We can all see it. So not only is that happening, you then look at, obviously, the rivals. I've lost my train of thought. I don't know what's going on. I've lost my train of thought. You've got Ten Hag coming into United, and he's building something special. We can see the way we're progressing. We can see his style of play. We can see what we want to do. We can see there are only a few signings off where we want to be. Not only have we got that happening with Ten Hag, we've got the potential of new owners coming in, which we will touch upon the new owners news, adding to Ten Hag's success. But at the same time, Liverpool are falling. Liverpool are now stuck with FSG. Klopp, could go. Liverpool are going to have to do a rebuild process. Chelsea, they've got all this money spent, but they're not going to get Champions League. They're falling. Manchester City, almost at the end of their era, they're not as good as they used to be. It's like it's all adding up for this new, maybe Ten Hag, Arteta dominance era. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm getting a bit ahead. Maybe I'm being a bit of a deluded United fan. But it feels like we're all adding up for this potential dominance era at Manchester United as well. Gum said he'd like Osimhen and Ndika, Kudus, Vermeer in the summer, and possibly Mbappe as a statement signing. I'm not asking for much, are you? No, I'm just joking around. But we will talk about who United can sign and how far are United off the top as well. There are reports saying the Glazers are staying, and I do want to touch upon this. I said it on Twitter, I think, today. It would be career suicide for the Glazers to stay. Are the Glazers smart people? No. Do the Glazers have smart business minds? No. Is it possible the Glazers stay, and even though it's going to actually cost them more money to stay because they're freaking idiots and the stock goes down and it's a big mess? Potentially. But as I said, I think, and I'll show you what I said. I'll show you actually. We'll come back to this tweet. I think this tweet's liked. Yeah, we'll come back to this tweet because I actually do want to touch upon this tweet. But if we go to my tweets, I said if the Glazers had any brains, they know they have to do the full sale. My grammar is fucking dreadful. Not selling the club now would cost them. So I tell you what, I need to read through my tweets. This doesn't even make sense. I just tweet. I don't read. I bet I'm being cooked in the comments. No, I'm not actually. Anyway, my tweets doesn't make sense really. If it does, if you can figure it out. But Alice should really actually read through her tweets and not type them in 2 seconds. But essentially, what happened was, and we'll click on this, what I was actually talking about yesterday, and we'll zoom in one here. This is why I don't think the Glazers will sell. Yesterday, there was a lot of talk and speculation about the Glazers staying, and the Manchester United value went down 530 million because of it, because the stock value reduced by 12%. If the Glazers stay, they're seeing the effect on the stock market. The Glazers know that this is the time they're going to get the most for United. There's never really going to be a time where they're going to get more money from Man United than now. So the Glazers, we'll look at it and go, well, realistically, we've got big offers coming in from Qatar. We've got Ratcliffe. We've got people interested. It's probably time to sell United because we actually can't afford to run the club. They made a £109 million loss last financial year. Even though they're increasing revenue streams, they're still making losses. They've not really recovered from COVID. United financially needs a good £2 billion investment. There's debt coming out. The Glazers know that they can only stay at United if they get a minority share. And reportedly, the Glazers have been offered a minority share. There is the potential the Glazers could get a minority share. But this would mean career suicide for them because we've seen the impact that the sales had on the stock price. We've seen the impact of the Qatar bid on the stock price. And we've seen that they've not even had a partial sale, but we're seeing rumours of a partial sale reduce the value of the club by 530 million. Because when you've got people like Qatar coming in for United and leaking to the world that they're going to make United great again and all their big plans, it's all coming out in the media. The fans are getting excited. The fans are getting behind this, especially if they had 17 years of Glazer ownership. And this is why the Glazers had a go at Qatar. This is why the Glazers are annoyed at Qatar. They're annoyed that Qatar put this info public that they wanted to buy United, because the Glazers know, because Qatar was so public about their want to buy United and what they plan to do with United, the fans now know that we could really get Qatar in, and if we don't get Qatar in, it's because of the Glazers. If Man United do not have Qatari rich owners, it is because of the Glazers next year, and the fans know that. So if the Glazers stay, not only are the fans going to be annoyed because we could have had Qatar rich owners and the Glazers have stopped that, but if the Glazers stay, the value of the club will decrease because the fans are annoyed, the stock will go down, and I don't think they could recover that from that for a long time. I personally think that the Glazers will sell, because the Rain Group, who's overseeing this, has said the goal has always been a full sale. They've been looking for a minority investor for years, and they've finally been looking for full bids for the first time in a while. I think with Qatar's interest, with the fact that Qatar can give them a lot more money than they're already offering, I think the Glazers are testing the water a bit about this partial state just to see how the fans react. And I think they know that there would be a very, very bad reaction if they did stay. But I think the Glazers know that their bid from Qatar was reported either 4.5 billion or £5 billion. Now, what I think is the Glazers know Qatar can bid more than that. There's going to be 3-4 rounds of bidding. And if you're the Glazers, you know that Qatar can realistically afford to bid a lot more than reportedly they've bidded. But they're not going to do that until they see the Glazers' financials and stuff. So if you're the Glazers, you use the media to leak stories that you've got this offer for a minority investment, but you're keeping it quiet. There are people in giving the Glazers what they want, and that the Glazers would rather stay, because then Qatar will see that and go, okay, like they've got a minority investment offer, they might rather stay. So if we actually want United, we're going to have to give them what they want. The Glazers want 6 billion for United, and if Qatar give them 5 billion, you know, which is enough for United, and which they should be giving Qatar United for 5 billion. The Glazers are going to pretend that they want this minority stake more, and that they've got offers for the minority stake they want, to maybe potentially use it as a sales trick to trick Qatar into giving them the 6 billion they want. Sometimes I think about it from that angle. I think, would I be shocked if the Glazers stayed? Not totally. Do I think it would be stupid if they stayed? Yes. All the reliable journalists are telling me that they won't stay. Lots of reliable sources in Qatar saying it will be Qatar. But I think maybe it could just be a game from the Glazers to, one, test the water in case they do stay, like how the market responds, and that's not good. But it could also be, I think it's just a tactic to get Qatar to bid more. Maybe that's me. I don't know what you think. If they got partial investments, those funds would have to go to Old Trafford and facilities how they've been neglected, and they won't do that. And that's the worrying thing, is they want partial investment because the Old Trafford needs doing up, and they need to invest in Old Trafford and stuff. But the question is, will the Glazers invest in Old Trafford? Will they even put the partial funds where they need to go? Klopp didn't want Gakpo. I think Klopp did want Gakpo. Do you know what's funny, actually? I'm going to show you this. Actually, if I can find it. I liked a tweet earlier. Let me find it for you. Do you know what makes me laugh? It's how bad this tweet aged. Here it is. So Virgil van Dijk, I don't know if you can see that. We'll scroll. We'll make it bigger. So Virgil van Dijk said, are Manchester United and Real Madrid the same level at this moment? Basically referring to, are Man United and Real Madrid the same level of Liverpool at this moment? No disrespect, not at all. So Virgil van Dijk said that basically Gakpo went to Liverpool because United and Real Madrid are not the same level as Liverpool. During the World Cup, basically Virgil van Dijk was saying to Gakpo, United and Real Madrid aren't the same level as Liverpool. Bear in mind, Real Madrid had just smashed Liverpool 5-2, and United are about 10 points above Liverpool in the Premier League. And I always sit there and I go, talking to Cody Gakpo, this tweet aged so bad. Virgil van Dijk slamming that Man United and Real Madrid aren't the same level as Liverpool, and actually disrespecting Real Madrid and Man United, who are the two biggest clubs in the world, who are much better teams than Liverpool, and they're bragging they get Gakpo. But actually, Liverpool, you've just lost 5-2 to Real Madrid. Man United are probably going to kick you up at Anfield as well when we go to there in the Premier League. Ten Hag's going to cook something special. For me, it just makes me laugh that you've got Virgil van Mouth going, Gakpo shows Liverpool because United and Real Madrid aren't the same level, when Liverpool are arguably the shittest team in the league right now. I absolutely love it. We've got news coming out about Xavi's plan. I want to talk about the Barcelona game in a second, because Ten Hag is cooking something special, reportedly. Ten Hag's got 8 analysts at the Barcelona game. He's been talking to Fergie, Rio, Robert Van Persie. Ten Hag's been doing some stuff, but reportedly Xavi is considering using Baldy as a left back and Jordi Alba as a winger versus Manchester United, because Barcelona have got Xavi out, Barcelona have got Ousmane Dembele out, and Barcelona have got Pedri out. So even though Barcelona have quite a dense squad, they've got a lot of players missing. And we will talk about the Barcelona game in a second, which I think Manchester United are up for as well. But first of all, guys, please do smash that like button, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new as well. And of course, share the channel. We've got lots to talk about, but I do think that was quite funny from Van Dijk as well. The value will keep dropping if the Glazers stay, absolutely. And we have to look past our hatred of the Glazers when considering who we want as new owners. Anyone but the Glazers isn't the wise mindset. True, but it's realistically, there are people out there that could be worse than the Glazers, but it's very unlikely. I think even with Jim Ratcliffe, even if he's maybe buying the club and borrowing money to buy the club, would I rather have Jim Ratcliffe than the Glazers? Yes. Am I the biggest fan of these people coming to buy United and potentially borrowing money to buy United and kind of doing what the Glazers did? No, I don't like that, because the club's in debt. I don't want someone to put the club in debt. But I do think that Jim Ratcliffe would still be a better owner than the Glazers, even if he had to put the club in debt. Michael said he truly believes Qatar will buy United. Well, Qatari, is that the word? Qatari media outlets and lots of reliable sources in Qatar and lots of good sources in Qatar say that they believe that Qatar will be the next owners of Manchester United. They're saying people in Qatar, are certain it will happen. It will happen. There's a lot of people in the Qatari space basically saying the Qatar takeover will happen. We've just got to be patient with it. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-di-da. Those in Qatar very confident and believe it's going to happen. So that gives me some confidence, but you just don't know with the Glazers. It was very much said, I think, from The Athletic that the ball is very much in the Rain group and the Glazers court. The ball is very much in the Rain group and the Glazers court. It's either going to go to Qatar because no one's going to be able to match with the sovereign wealth, or the Glazers are going to absolutely risk it because they're greedy and want more power and stay at United longer. But this is one of the most money. This is going to be one of the most United is worth. If they want to sell United, now is the time. And it's reported that because Ten Hag's doing well on the pitch, the Glazers might want to stay and see if they can get more value. United brings them in so much money. They've got such a large fan base. It's such a valuable asset. La-di-la. Like, the Glazers are saying that. But it's just like, for me, I'm like, you've been here 17 years. You've neglected this club for 17 years. We're in a place with a manager that could finally do something special, but he needs the backing. For me, if you care about United, if you want to get the fans back on your side, sell the fucking club. I just think sell the freaking club, Glazers. And look, they might stay. But as I said, I think it's a tactic. I will say it again. I think all this, the Glazers might stay. They're interested to see if Ten Hag doing well puts the value of the club up. The Glazers might stay this, the Glazers might stay that. Joel Glazer doesn't want to sell United. I think all these stories coming out could potentially just be a tactic to get more money from Qatar. If they know Qatar's going to put a second bid in and they've only got 4.5 million from Qatar and they want 6 billion second bid, they're going to have to put stories out saying that they're not going to sell to Qatar and all of that. I don't think Qatar is stupid. Qatar want United. The amount of information Qatar's let go public about the takeover, I don't think that Qatar would be releasing all these stories to their journalists that they're going to buy United. They're certain it's going to happen. They're in the process to buy Man United if Qatar didn't think there was a chance. If Qatar didn't think the Glazers were open to the full sale, I don't think they would be releasing this info. I think that the Glazers are angry at Qatar for releasing this info because it's meant that now if the Glazers don't accept Qatar, there will be outrage from the fans. But I just think with the reports that are coming out about how confident Qatar are, how Qatar will get this done, how Qatar are going into a second round of bidding now, I don't think Qatar will be wasting their time or putting bids in or being this serious if they didn't think a full takeover was possible. And because Qatar have almost unlimited funds, the second round of bidding won't be a problem. They will be able to outbid Jim. The belief is in and around the space that, Qatar will get United. So I would be shocked if the Glazers accepted a partial stake. I would be, but nothing can shock you with the Glazers. When things are bad for United and you don't think they can get worse, the Glazers find a way to make it worse. I went down the wrong way, that. Fucking choked on my water. I was being so careful because I almost was going to spit that out and I thought that'd be grim. So luckily I didn't. But as I was saying, as Alex fucking chokes herself on some water, it's curious suicide. Going back to the matches though. Fuck me. 2 massive matches. We have to be up for it and play and be at our best this week. 100%. I think this week for me is we'll hear more about the takeover. We're going to hear a lot more about the takeover soon. I think this week the focus of United is going to be on this Barcelona game and this cup final. Man United haven't won a trophy in 6 years. We need to win a trophy. We're going to talk about how important trophies are to Ten Hag in just a minute. Why Ten Hag's so desperate for a trophy in just a minute. But this is a massive, massive week for Manchester United. And I think regarding the takeover, I think the next few days there's not going to be much coming out. And then I do think as of next week, once we've got the final out of the way, once we've got the Barcelona out of the way, I think takeover noise will focus as well. Ratcliffe said that Ineos would not take debt, not the club. Look, I do think that Ratcliffe, I'm sceptical about Ratcliffe's bid. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit sceptical about Ratcliffe's bid and about what Ratcliffe wants to do. And the reason behind that is he obviously doesn't have the funds necessarily to buy United outright. He doesn't have the funds Qatar have. Nice people do complain about Ratcliffe. Those in and around the Nice space have complained about Ratcliffe. So I do have that slight bit of fear and that slight kind of worry surrounding potentially Jim Ratcliffe being owner. However, I do believe that Jim Ratcliffe is a United fan. I do believe that if he brought United, he wouldn't be using it as a business thing. And I do believe Jim Ratcliffe would be a better owner than the Glazers. The question is, does Jim Ratcliffe, being a United supporter, have the material and knowledge to take United back to the top? Because what we've seen from what he's done with Nice, he's not done anything crazy with Nice. He's not done anything at Nice, but I'm like, oh my God, get this guy to United. He seems not to care loads about OG Nice. So that for me is the worrying thing with Jim Ratcliffe is how does he feel about United? Would he prioritise United? Would he be a good owner for United? And at the end of the day, like, I don't have a favourite of who I want to be the next owner. I think through my research and understanding, I believe that Qatar, for on-field success and what we want to achieve on the pitch, would potentially be the best owners. But I don't know enough about the other parties to say, we don't know for sure. I want who I think is best for United, and I think Qatar would be best for United. But I don't think Jim would be awful for United. But if you could get Qatar and you could get Jim, the argument is, would Qatar be better for the club? I don't know what Jim's intentions are. I don't know what Qatar's intentions are. We don't know for sure what the intentions are. But I do think at the end of the day, one thing we can all agree on, whether it's not who the new owners are, it's that the Glazers need to go as well. They would be crazy not to take a full sale now, especially with the global finance uncertainty, and who knows what the climate will be years from now. Exactly. And I think, if they don't accept, a sale of United, they're stupid because, as you said, it's unpredictable. We don't know what to expect. But when you see that Newcastle got new owners, City have got new owners, and Chelsea have got new owners that are pumping so much money in their club, if the Glazers want to compete with that, they've got to spend money at United. I think football's moving a different way now where, to be a top club, you need owner investment. United, because it's such a big club, has been able to cope with the money it makes for years. But I think we're moving in a direction where there's so much money in football from owners that actually, if you want to compete at the top, you need owner investment. And I think we might just be going into an era where owners like the Glazers won't be able to last much longer at United financially. They don't have the money to do that. I think football is moving in that sense in a different way. I think the fact that the stock market is, the value of United's gone down over 500 million in the space of 24 hours because of reports the Glazers were staying. If the Glazers did stay, there would be an absolute unbelievable crash. If Qatar really want United, they'll get it regardless as to Tobias. And I agree. I still think that we'll get Qatar despite rumours, because I just think, as we know, if Qatar want United, they'll find a way to make it happen. I'm just looking at the chat from when I had that coughing fit. Everyone's just laughing. I'm absolutely fine. I was trying not to spit out my drink. So I fucking started choking on it. And how would you all feel if players boycott a new owner? I don't think that would happen, because if they don't boycott the Glazers, I don't think they'll boycott anyone else, because the Glazers are awful. And Sir Jim is better than the Glazers, but there's a lot of worrying debt associated with them, which I 100% agree with. And looking at the Sir Jim proposal, I'm sceptical, to be honest. The right one I prefer is Qatar, I agree. And Ineos has a shareholder. Why would they take hundreds of millions of debt on their book? It's all very suspect. And yeah, I agree. I don't know enough around the Jim Ratcliffe bid to really be behind it. I think there's a few red flags in that. I don't think it would be awful. There's rumours that he's actually a Chelsea supporter and he's got a Chelsea season ticket. I don't know. It's interesting to see. There's a big divide, though, in the fan base. Some people are really anti-Qatar, and some people are like really anti Jim Ratcliffe. There's a big divide in the fan base on what's better or not as well. Qatar at least have said no more debt, renovate Old Trafford and get us back to the top. Sir Jim promises are a bit vague. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why Qatar is more appealing. We've got 450 people watching, guys. Let's smash that like button. The goal is 300 likes by the end of the live stream. So if everybody watching hits that like button right now, we could potentially achieve that goal. So smash that like button as well. Qatar, so there's conflicting reports. Some sources are saying Qatar bidded 4.5 million. And other people are billion, and other people are saying Qatar bidded 5 billion. So they either bidded 4.5 billion pounds or 5 billion pounds. Jim Ratcliffe reportedly was between 4 to 4.5 billion euros, which would have been maybe 3 million pounds. Very much conflicting reports. We don't know for sure, but the report is that Qatar's initial bid is the highest. Qatar, as of now, have the highest bid. But again, reports do obviously conflict themselves as well. Alice, what the fuck? They're scared. I kind of wanted to annoy Liverpool fans, and with the title. But Xavi is scared of Man United. Xavi's been praising Man United, Rashford, how unbelievable he is. Xavi's reportedly going to play about 7 defenders. So we will talk about the Barcelona game. Reports that Barcelona are scared, the 7 defenders. We're going to actually talk about that game in just a second, so stay tuned for that. People saying 4-1 United tomorrow, 2-1 United. Of course, get your predictions in. And as much as we want someone, we don't have a say. 100%. Do you know what? We can all have an opinion. But at the end of the day, you're correct. None of us have a say in who the new owners are. If the Glazers stay, we don't have a say in that. You know, it will cost United, but we can't have a say in that. You know, at the end of the day, it's not what the fans want. And, you know, it doesn't matter who we want at the end of the day, which is sad. It's going to go to whatever the Glazers want to do. The ball is in the Glazers' court. Do they accept investment or do they do the full sale? The Glazers, if it comes to full sale, they're not going to choose, oh, the fans want this guy or this guy would be better. The Glazers are going to go, we're going to give the full sale to whoever offers the most money. That's what the Glazers are going to do. So, yeah, the ball's not in our court. It's in their court. Statistic for you people, Marcus Rashford has averaged a goal every 76 minutes for Manchester United in the Europa League this season. So, hopefully, he will be bagging versus Barcelona because we've got lots to talk about regarding the Barcelona game. I do want to dive into Ten Hag's press conference. I do want to dive into some comments that Ten Hag made in his press conference about, guys, guess what? Guess what? You're never going to believe this. You're never going to believe what Ten Hag said today. So Ten Hag, honestly, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable, this. So Ten Hag did a press conference and he said on the injury updates, he said that Maguire's expected back, Antony's expected back, and you wouldn't believe this. Martial's still injured. Honestly, I swear, man, with Martial, I swear this guy, what is he made of? He's training alone. The other people are back from injury. Now Martial's still injured. What is going on with Martial and injuries? I am fed up. And Ten Hag is fed up. Ten Hag wants Martial gone. Ten Hag wants, I think he likes Martial, but I'm getting the impression Ten Hag is fed up. Now, we will talk about this image in just a second. In the last 48 hours, 2 former Man United players have visited Carrington, and Erik Ten Hag has had dinner with Sir Alex in a crucial week. And we face Barcelona in a UEL knockout game and in a Newcastle Cup final. So that is obviously what is going around. Bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. Man, Ten Hag with a big cup final and a big Europa League game, he's getting the big names at Old Trafford. He's cooking something. I tell you what, that meeting with Sir Alex, Ten Hag is cooking something. But also, performance versus wages for EPL teams. I thought this was an interesting graph. I don't know if you can see that here. But obviously, United have one of the highest wages per poor performance. But obviously, we're not as bad as Chelsea. But anyway, heading on to my tweets. I tweeted yesterday Manchester United lineup. And I said, I'm going to zoom out. So I'm going to zoom out one more. What would Ten Hag cook with this lineup? I want your opinion on. Goalkeeper doesn't overly matter that much. I do like De Gea, but I think that Ten Hag want him on a keeper. I want you to give me your opinion on this lineup because I think we're Osimhen, De Jong, a young DM, and potentially a goalkeeper that's better with their feet away from challenging. I think that that's a good squad. People in the comments didn't really agree that much, but I think at striker you've got Osimhen, Rashford, and Martial. Martial will be back up because it's been reported the Weghorst won't stay. And then on the right, you've got Sancho, you've got Antony, and you've got Amad Diallo. You've even got Palestri if he stays and doesn't go out on loan. On the left, you've got Rashford, you've got Garnacho. You've even got Martial and Sancho that could potentially play on the left. In the 10 role, you've got Bruno and Eriksen, maybe Donny if he stays, but I don't think Donny will stay. Maybe Sabitzer if he stays. In Casemiro's role, we need a backup 100%. McTominay's got to go. McTominay is for sale for 25 million in the summer. Then you get someone like Frankie de Jong, and people will be like, fucking Frankie de Jong, let it go. And I agree. But he would be perfect. He would be perfect. De Jong, Casemiro, Bruno. Do not tell me otherwise. And then I've put Fred and Eriksen as potential backups for his role. I've gone with Luke Shaw, Martinez, and Varane to stay. I think they're solid. I'd probably say Kim and Jay to replace Maguire, but that's more long term. I did think about potential right back investment as well. I think Dalot and Wan-Bissaka have been solid, but could be improved there. But and then on goal, I've put Diogo Costa or David Raya. I do think that team, could potentially win the league. Depending on obviously injuries, depending on maybe how player ages and stuff. I mean I just think that I think a front three of Rashford, Osimhen, and if we can get Sancho back into his Dortmund form, would be absolutely unstoppable. Osimhen is second after Rashford for most goals post-World Cup. If it wasn't for Rashford, Osimhen would have the most goals post-World Cup. And if you get Sancho back to his best, I generally think that front three under Ten Hag would absolutely cook up a storm. Absolutely cook up a storm. Frankie, who didn't notice in Casemiro's shadow last week, I have to say, Casemiro dealt with De Jong very well. I tell you what, De Jong, I hope we beat Barcelona just to send De Jong a message of, nah, you know what, De Jong, this is where you should have gone. Ten Hag would challenge with that team. I think he would. I mean, what changes did you make? A lot of people were annoyed at De Jong. They're kind of over De Jong. But I do think that Frankie De Jong is Ten Hag's dream signing for a reason. And I still stand by the fact that I would absolutely love Frankie De Jong at United as well. And Alex B says, I do wonder what type of 9 Erik Ten Hag actually wants. Osimhen and Kane are examples and they're vastly different. That is true. This is a really good point here. So the two people that Ten Hag wants the most are Osimhen and Kane. Now, I do think that Kane is a classic Ten Hag number 9 if you look at the number 9s he had at Ajax. You know, you look at Haller, you look at Huntelaar. I do think Kane is a number 9, and I think it's a Ten Hag number 9. And I wouldn't be surprised if Harry Kane was first choice, if Ten Hag wanted Harry Kane. But I think that's very much dependent on, can Ten Hag get Harry Kane? Will he stay at Spurs? Will he not stay at Spurs? Will Spurs sell him to us and what the price would be? I think we also want Victor Osimhen, that even though he's a completely different profile to Harry Kane, he can create things himself. So we're in that sense of, yes, he can create things himself. We kind of need that because, you know, we're not giving Weghorst the supply he needs. He's also the most informed guy in Europe. He's young. I think that there's many reasons. I think Ten Hag wants a striker. I think that Kane is probably a more Ten Hag profile striker than Osimhen. But I think when you see Osimhen and what he's doing and how he could link up with the attack, I think he's got every reason not, you know, to want Osimhen. I think he would like Vlahovic. I think he would like Sesko. You know, reportedly it's Kane and Osimhen that we want. But I think as summer goes on, as we get new owners, as we know more about Manchester United's plans next season, we'll have a real indication of actually what United plan to do with the squad and who that striker could potentially be. Alex is banging squad. People saying Kane up front as well. And Martial has to go this summer. Absolutely worthless. Never play. I mean, I think he has to go as well. After all that the Glazers did, what are they doing now? How can the government allow them to hold on to Man United, a UK iconic flagship? Yeah. I mean, look, I think if Man United was a London club, I don't think the Glazer takeover would have ever happened. I always say that, and maybe that's just me as well. People saying, forget that David De Gea must stay. I don't have an issue with De Gea. I just think Ten Hag might want a keeper that's more comfortable with his feet. I do think this fan base is very divided on De Gea. You've got some people that absolutely bum-lick De Gea to the day he dies, and you've got some people that very much hate De Gea. And I think there are people in this fan base that are very unfair on De Gea. I can see that there's aspects of De Gea where 10 years ago it didn't matter, but in the way football's moving in the modern game, he needs to improve on them. I think there's potential distribution issues with De Gea and what he's like with his feet. However, United are having a good season and De Gea is having a good season. And people are saying we'll never win until we get rid of De Gea. De Gea's this, De Gea's that. We can't win until we get a top keeper. I think that Ten Hag can coach De Gea. I think that Ten Hag has proven that he can coach players and turn De Gea into a more keeper that's developed more better with his feet. I think that United can win trophies with De Gea. I just think the belief is that Ten Hag will probably want someone else in. But I do think there's an overreaction from this fan base on De Gea hate. I see all these stuff come out, oh, De Gea is the reason we're losing. It's fucking not. It's not. It's maybe not the type of keeper Ten Hag wants long term, and he might kind of restrict us in terms of playing out from the back. But I don't think De Gea is the type of guy that could cost us a league title. You know, and I think the thing about De Gea is we need him with his shot-stopping ability. It's fantastic. I also think that we can. De Gea doesn't make that many mistakes compared to some of the other keepers as well. Edison's making a lot more mistakes than De Gea, but I think De Gea is overhated by the fan base. But I do understand why Ten Hag would potentially want a new goalkeeper for the needs of what he wants to do. But as I said, I don't have an issue with De Gea stage for another season. Very much my opinion on De Gea isn't an opinion. My opinion on De Gea is we should do what Ten Hag wants. We should do what Ten Hag believes is best because Ten Hag has a plan for the squad. Ten Hag knows what he wants to do with the squad, and that would be my overall thought process on De Gea. After watching Joseph Gomez, I can come to the conclusion that Maguire deserves an apology. Exactly. And Casado, Casemiro's successor, could play well next to him, 100%. And because he didn't get that move to Arsenal, potentially Moises Casado could be one for United to look at. I think if he stayed another year at Brighton, United should go for him. I think he'll leave Brighton in the summer, considering he really wanted to leave in January. And I don't know if United will prioritise that kind of midfielder in the summer. I think that we need Casado, and I think we need like a De Jong. but I don't know if United would prioritise a Casado type just this summer. However, we do need to sell McTominay and get an actual DM in as well. Ostenham's an injury merchant. He's had a few injuries, but so has Kane. I don't think there's much difference between it as well. And Erik Ten Hag is brilliant and world class considering the injuries and how short our squad is. So think what we can do with a backup striker, DM, centre mid, goalkeeper. 100%. I've been saying this for a while. Imagine Ten Hag with Qatari investment that give Ten Hag what he wants. It would be absolutely unreal. And we need our striker to have speed. I don't think it's the be all and end all under Ten Hag, but I do think it would be important in terms of linking up as well. A lot of people saying De Gea might stay. De Gea's been a saviour. De Gea's a legend. I think De Gea gets way too much hate in this fan base. And I'll take a good shot stopper over a keeper who's good with their feet any day, says SM. So a lot of people more on De Gea's side as well. I'd keep De Gea. Never easy replacing a goalkeeper legends. We saw Michael Virgil van Dijk. This is my thought process. I'd probably keep De Gea, but it's about what Ten Hag wants to do. And I think long term, he might want someone that's better with his feet. But as I've always said, I think De Gea gets too much disrespect from the fan base as well. Someone said here, should we bring in a top striker or a striker who could be the understudy to Rashford? Rashford for me is a left winger and will just be backup striker if need be. I think we should bring in a top striker, in my opinion, as well. I think that Victor Osimhen would be my ideal, if not Harry Kane. I think that United needs a top striker, and I think Ten Hag knows that. People saying 4-1-4-4-1. What do you mean 4-1-4-1? Am I missing something there? Sorry, I'm just clicking on the chats now. And if Erik Ten Hag wants to link up 9, Osimhen isn't that. But if he wants off the ball work, pace and positioning, he is one. Yeah, and that's what he likes about Weghorst as well. People saying Bellingham better than De Jong. I think, you know what? Liverpool have been desperate for Bellingham. Liverpool have been very much in this Jude Bellingham project. The idea and the project around Liverpool is Jude Bellingham this, Jude Bellingham that. We all know that Liverpool want Jude Bellingham and everything kind of around that. But if you're Jude Bellingham and you see Liverpool maybe not getting Champions League football this year, getting cooked, Klopp potentially resigning, if you're Jude Bellingham and you're seeing all these problems in and around Liverpool at the moment, I do think I'd sit there and go, you know what? If Man United are getting Qatari owners, if Ten Hag is cooking something special in the top 4 and they've got a young squad with Qatari owners coming, I'd come to United. Because we're seeing United have good seasons and then be shit again. But I'm saying if we have a good season with Ten Hag, we need a player in Bellingham's position and he sees we get Qatari owners. I think he'd be stupid not to come to United. And that is if we get Qatari owners. I think that Bellingham, although Liverpool want him and although he's always been destined for Liverpool, I don't think Bellingham to Liverpool could happen unless Liverpool get their shit together this season and finish in the top 4. I think if Liverpool miss out on top 4 and we get Qatari owners, we could get Bellingham. Even though he's not a priority, even though he's massively overpriced, we know from lots and lots of credible journalists that Ten Hag rates Bellingham very highly. Ten Hag wants Jude Bellingham. He really, really likes Jude Bellingham. So I do think that, again, is something to take into account. How about Barella and makes a bit of permanent for the summer, both Fred and Scott replacements? Potentially, I think I'd keep Fred for another season of how good he's been. I know he's been inconsistent, he's been good, but I would sell Scott McTominay as well. Ostenham's injury record looks like more bad luck. All injuries unrelated and weird ones like face, arms, and shoulders. Yeah, I mean, look, Ostenham does have an interesting injury record, but so has Kane. The only thing with Ostenham is he going to be one of those players if he comes to United that he's just injured for a long time? Is he like Anthony or is he like Anthony Martial? I tell you what, if he had an injury record like Anthony Martial, my freaking God. Liverpool being run by the owners, or Liverpool owners set to stay. We've got Madrid fans in here. Smash a like if you're happy that Liverpool lost as well. A lot of people saying they take Bellingham over De Jong, and I do think Liverpool, if they don't get top 4, really could miss out on Bellingham. And do you really think that if Bellingham wants to go to Liverpool, then one season out of the UCL would make him change their mind and go to the most hated rivals? Because Bellingham's a Birmingham City fan. I don't think he's ever had his heart set on Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool's ever been the dream. I think if you're Bellingham, you want to play for a top Premier League club because you're English. And I don't think he has. I think that Liverpool's always been the one that he's kind of wanted to go to because Klopp, because Dortmund, because the links, because Liverpool have been a good team the last few years. But I think Bellingham might go, oh, actually, Man United, new owners, Ten Hag, this project's more exciting for me. You know, we were told that Gakpo wanted to come to United for so long, had been having calls with Ten Hag, and that, you know, we know that Gakpo came out and said he dreamed of coming to United. We know that Ruben Nistelrooy said that Gakpo's first choice was United, and Gakpo couldn't wait. Even though Gakpo was dreaming of United, his first choice was United, Gakpo couldn't wait 6 months to join United in the summer and instead opted for a move to Liverpool early. I think, you know, it just shows that I don't think a player really has a particular preference. It's almost about what offer comes at the time as well. Gehan says, I don't get David De Gea hate. I guess these fans are young and don't understand what he's done at United. De Gea is adjusting his game and doing a good job. I don't see a problem. I agree. I think David's really adjusting his game as well. 177 likes, people, and we've got over 500 people watching. So please do smash that like button if you have not already. The goal is 250 likes by the end of the live stream. So we're talking 73 likes to go, and there's over 500 people watching. So we only need less than 1 in 5 of you to smash that like button to hit that target. I'm sure you can do it. And let's take that moment to laugh at Liverpool as well. Rashford in the future could become a centre forward. He could. I still always think he's better on the wing. I think he's better when he's running at people rather than having his back to goal. Qatar and Bellingham and Kane would be a good window as well. I do think we need, on top of Bellingham, we would still need a defensive-minded midfielder. I think we need 2 midfielders. I think we need a striker and potentially some investment into the defence. And I'm actually less concerned with Osimhen's injury record. Rarely been his legs or reoccurring injuries, just all odd ones, which is a good point as well. And much like Haaland, it was seen that he wasn't a very distinct career plan. Bellingham has toured around Old Trafford and still said no. How many times do you want Bellingham or De Jong? I do think that, United summer, we will get a midfielder. And I think it will very much depend on the new owner situation, the money we have available, and if we get top 4. I mean, if we get top 4, Qatari owners have a lot of money available. I think that Bellingham and De Jong are both possible. Am I saying we're going to get them? No, but I'm saying I think it's possible. I do think that we could do something big this summer. I don't know what we're going to do, but I have a feeling that United could do something big this summer. Now, I do want to get to the Barcelona game. I do want to spend the last sort of 15 minutes of this live stream actually talking about Barcelona, the Barcelona game, what to expect, what Xavi said, what Ten Hag said, all of that as well. And I think that Xavi made some interesting comments to kind of suggest that he's scared of United. Now, Xavi actually said on Ten Hag that Ten Hag is very good. I like Ten Hag a lot. He has built a team and is getting the best out of all his players. That speaks well of him. Tactically, he is very good and he handles the dressing room very well. As Xavi also said on Ten Hag, he gets the best out of the talents from his players. You see Jadon Sancho looking good, Marcus Rashford, and that Portuguese guy. For some reason, he forgot Bruno's name. And look how Fred is playing. Xavi very much praising United, and Xavi reportedly is scared of United and is thinking of playing Jordi Alba left wing and Baldy left back and really hammering down on the defensive side because he's got no Gavi, he's got no Pedri, he's got no Dembele, he's not sure how to deal with Rashford and his pace. Reportedly, Xavi is very scared of United, worried going into the game, and is going to very much park the bus. Would you believe that Barcelona are going to park the bus against United after what we saw from United last season, that we'd say a year later Barcelona would come here and park the bus because they're scared? I think that's mad. The United squad has been released for the Barcelona game, people. I'll get that up on the screen and then we'll get into the lineup and the predicted lineup. So obviously the people who trained in the squad came out. These will likely be the people involved in the Barcelona game. I will zoom in on that for you people just here. It was obviously said that Manchester United players who trained today: De Gea, Heaton, Butland, Bishop, Maguire, Dalot, Varane, Shaw, Martinez, Williams, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Malacia. You can read that. That is the squad that trained. That's all the players available. But obviously, basically, we've got everyone but Donny van der Beek, Christian Eriksen, and Anthony Martial. And if we go to the lineup that's been released on SofaScore for the game tomorrow, which is obviously their just automated robotic prediction, we will see that the report coming at the moment, the feeling is, and this will most likely change, but United will start with Rashford on the left, Wild top, Sancho on the right, and Bruno as a 10, with Casemiro and Sabitzer in behind, and Luke Shaw, Lissandro, Varane, Dalot. I think that's very much the lineup we're going to see tomorrow. I think the lineup on your screen, the lineup that we finished the game against Leicester with, because we were really good in that second half versus Leicester, will be the lineup that starts, but with Casemiro coming in as well. I think the Barcelona lineup could look potentially different because they've got no Gavi, they've got no Pedri. I think this will be an interesting one as well. Ferran Torres, Lewandowski, Rafinha. Reportedly, instead of Ferran Torres, they want to play Alba because they're scared. If you look at Barca here, they're not going to have Gavi, they're not going to have Pedri, and they're not going to have Ousmane Dembele. We're not going to have Donny, we're not going to have Eriksen, and obviously we're probably not going to have Martial, and obviously these guys are out. I had a few people ask me about Greenwood because just bringing this up briefly, he was spotted in public with Harriet. So the girl that accused Greenwood, or the girl that put the stuff on social media that Greenwood had, allegedly assaulted, raped, and threatened to kill her, is now being spotted walking around shops of Mason Greenwood. And people were saying, Alice, what do you think of this? Alice, what do you think of this? And I can't tell you what I think of this because it's not my place to judge or think anything of it. You know, I always give my opinion on stuff, but at the end of the day, I have no clue what the dynamic of Greenwood and his girlfriend's relationship is. Like the only people that really know what went down, if those audio recordings were real or if it was role play, is Greenwood and Harriet. The only people that know in that relationship is Greenwood and Harriet. Is it a healthy relationship? You wouldn't think so. But I don't know. And people were saying, oh, what do you think, Alice? Greenwood and Harriet walking together, does that mean that she's lied? And all of that. And I just think it's, you know, I can't give you an opinion on someone's relationship when I don't know these people. I know nothing about their relationship. It's not my place to judge if Greenwood is back with this girl or if she's gone back to him. It's not my place to judge or really give an opinion on. I don't know anything. And people were saying, oh, if he's back with the girl, surely that means United will let him back because she must have forgiven him and he's innocent. And I think it's not to do with Greenwood and the girl anymore. I think it's to do with, would this cost the club money? I think with the Greenwood situation, it's a decision that Arnold is making. And the decision has been made that they will not make any decision until the summer because they do not want to disrupt the good progress Ten Hag is doing with the United squad and the dressing room. They do not want any distractions this season. I generally think the decision will be that Greenwood will come back in the summer and he'll be sold. That's what I think. I think that they will wait until the summer to deal with it. He will probably come back and be sold, if I'm being honest. But, you know, it's a decision for United to make financially. And I think the fact that he's back with his girlfriend, I don't think implicates it. And a lot of people kind of ask about it. And I think it's not really my business. I think that he probably will come back and he'll probably be sold abroad because I do think we don't know what's gone down. There could be an explanation for it where we could be going, shit, like maybe Greenwood was innocent. But I think it's just we've heard too much. It's gone on too long. I think the best thing is to just sell, move on, and go abroad as well. Kudus would be a good deal. I really like Kudus. Kudus is a target for the summer. I do think we'll be talking about Kudus in the summer. Ajax boss is saying, oh, we're glad we sold Anthony and not Kudus now, which I think is interesting as well. But I do really like Kudus, and I think he'll definitely be one for the summer as well. Wan-Bissaka finished the Leicester game. Yeah, to be fair, I think Wan-Bissaka could play it ahead of Delo. I'm not sure. I thought Wan-Bissaka's been really good lately as well. What people watching from Trinidad, so big up Trinidad and Tobago or whatever it's called. Big up people watching all around the world. And I don't understand some fans' insistence on De Jong and Bellingham who rejected United. Where is your pride? We want players who want to join, not because they want offered large sum of money. I don't know if they rejected United. I just don't think the time wasn't the right time. We don't really know what went down as well. Yeah, people saying sorry. And Ten Hag will put tomorrow Wan-Bissaka Delay. I think it'll be interesting to see what he does at right back as well. But yeah, it's all interesting ones as well. Alex said he'd never support a nonce. I mean, yeah, we don't want any nonsense in the squad as well. Strange how people wanted his head. How do you feel now, haters? He won't be sold. I think that he will be sold. I think that we've had too much. We don't know what's gone on, but we've had too much. Too much damage has been done. Too many people won't like this. I think he'll come back and I think he'll be sold. But I will say one thing with Greenwood. Nothing is happening till the summer. We will see these fake journalists and these clickbait journalists and these channels that absolutely make up news for the sake of views. And we'll see them say things like absolute things saying about Greenwood and that. And I know for sure, well, I don't know for sure, but I strongly believe that nothing will be done with Greenwood until the season's over because they will not want to cause a disruption to what Ten Hag is doing. Xavi on the state-owned club said he had a good relationship with Sheikh Hassim Al Thani and he would do a good job. So basically, Xavi obviously went to Qatar, obviously worked there in the final stage of his career as well. And Xavi said that those people in Qatar that are linked to United would do a good job. So Xavi very much behind a United takeover of state-owned jobs as well, because Xavi obviously has close links to Qatar. I do think it's funny the hypocrisy around Qatar, in the sense of you see these journalists that went to Qatar, the Qatar World Cup, and are now saying that Qatar to United is the worst thing for football. It's like everyone's allowed their own opinion, but if you're enjoying yourself in the Qatar World Cup and then you go and slag off Qatar, you know, it's a bit like, okay. But Xavi said on the Sheikh that's made an offer for Manchester United that he's a good person, he's a responsible person, and he would do a good job at United, which is interesting because Xavi's obviously got relations to him as well. And the negatives surrounding the situation with Mason Greenwood far outweigh any benefits of the progress made in his absence cements that point. The club has to stand for principle. If nothing else, he must go. And I think that makes a good point. I think we're doing well without him. Is it worth risking bringing him back? Because we don't even know if he'd be the same player with the time he's had out and the mental thing. I think that actually the negatives, when you look at it, in my opinion, I think the negatives outweigh the positives. The negatives are fans could be upset. We could lose money on sponsorships. He could disrupt the squad, but doing well without him, I think, while we need a striker, I think United would be better off to just buy a striker. I think I think you're very right with saying I think the negatives would very much outweigh the positives on that. Guys, please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below to the channel if you're new. Share the video. We want to get into the final topics regarding today's show, talking Barcelona, talking the game tomorrow. Everybody who's watching, get your score predictions in the chat. We're talking Man U, we're talking Barcelona, we're talking the score. Tell me what you're thinking, because I'm going to say this today. 2-0 win United. Rashford on the score sheet, Bruno on the score sheet. 2-0 win. I think it will be difficult. And I think Barcelona will park the bus. But I think we're at home. We've been unstoppable at home. We've got a very strong lineup now. Martinez is back. We're going to be able to play our strongest lineup. We'll have Anthony to come off the bench as well. Jadon Sancho's back and looking good. We just finished that Leicester game so well. Although we're playing a game every 3 days, although these players are absolutely knackered, we don't have to do that travelling to Spain. We don't have that extra exhaustion. We are particularly good at home. I think, what? United are going to win this 2-0. I think Casemiro is going to be God. I think it's just going to be God. That's Casemiro. I think Sancho have a good game. I think Rashford have a good game. I think Ratcliffe have a good game. I think that, we kind of outplayed Barcelona for the moment. I mean, there was moments where Barcelona were definitely on top in the first leg, but for the most part, I think we were the better team and we were unlucky not to win that leg. So I think going into this leg, I think being at home, the advantage, no Pedri, no Gavi, no Dembele, I think with Barcelona, I think we'll win. Obviously Liverpool fans said that they were going to win versus Real Madrid and they didn't. So maybe I'm being overconfident. And I don't want to write off Barcelona because they are good Barcelona. They are a good team. If I pick on Barcelona here, can I pick on them? No, I can't. Can I? Yeah. If I pick on Barcelona here, they've basically won all their games by United. Look, win, 2-0 win. It's 1-0 win, 3-0 win against Sevilla as well. 2-1 win, 1-0 win, 1-0 win, 1-0 win, 5-0 win, 3-1 over Madrid. Only United they've not beaten. That they've been unstoppable at the moment, Barcelona. I'm not gonna. Maybe I'm a bit too confident saying we're going to beat them and stuff, but because they've been absolutely unstoppable lately. But I just have a feeling. I believe in Ten Hag. I believe in United as well. Alex said regarding Kudus, because we were talking about it a minute ago, I can't see Ajax will rinse him, and we invested a lot in Anthony. Yeah, I mean, I think you make a good point there. I think United have been linked to Kudus, and I think they could potentially go in for Kudus. But I think it could depend on price. We'll be linked to him. I'm not saying we'll buy him, but for sure we will be linked to him a lot. I really believe that we'll be linked to him a lot. People getting the score predictions from 3-1, 2-1, 4-1. I'm saying clean sheets of 2-0. People saying 4-2. Someone said 4-0 United. I'd love that. 2-1 United. Bruno going to smack Barca up after Xavi disrespect. Yeah, Xavi basically saying they've got that Portuguese player. Say Bruno Fernandes. The disrespect. Alex is 1-0, 4-3, 4-2 as well. Casemiro rules at Barcelona as well. Have to be up for it. Have to be at our best both matches to beat regardless. I think the main thing do you know what? The biggest thing about this game against Barcelona is, are they up for it? Now, they should be up for a game versus Barcelona, and I think they will be up for it. But when they've played a game every 3 days and the fatigue in the United squad is very obvious, I think the real question is, will United be there from the get-go? Versus Leicester, the first 45 minutes we were asleep. The last 45 minutes versus Leicester, the best we've been all season. That Leicester game was the worst we've been all season, followed by the best we've been all season. If you get what I'm saying. I do think with Barca, again, it's how do we start quick? Because I think my one criticism of United is we haven't started particularly quick. We should have started quicker in a lot more games. We were saying 3-0 United, 4-1, 9-0. I mean, Kenny, I'll give you 100 quid if we win 9-0. I don't think that's going to happen. 3-1, people saying 4-0. Very confident, and I like that. And it's weird that we're back in United to beat Barcelona. I think this really shows us the progress Ten Hag has made, that a lot of us feel so confident against the Barcelona side. And, United aren't good against Spanish sides, typically in Europe, that we're going to win. 72 likes away from 300 likes. 500 people watching. We've got 5 minutes left of the live stream. Everybody smash that like button. Let's hit that 300 like target as well. 2-0 United, 3-1 United, 3-1 United. I love that we're so confident that United are going to win this game as a fan base. Maybe we're overconfident like Liverpool were against Real Madrid. Maybe it's going to bite us in the bum. maybe we're going to do awful. But Barca don't have the best away record in Europe. United have got a good home record. United were very good in the first leg. Barca have got significant players injured. It does feel like Man United could win this. Barcelona do feel scared. I do feel that confidence, but you can't disrespect Barcelona. They're such a fantastic team, such a brilliant team. They're top of the Liga for a reason. They've got players like Lewandowski. At the end of the day, it's going to be a very difficult game, in my opinion, but I like the confidence we have going into this because this shows the real progress Ten Hag has made. It shows what Ten Hag's doing. And the big thing about Ten Hag is he's all about trophies. He wants to win every trophy. He's not about getting knocked out of cup competition to rest players and focus on top four. Ten Hag wants trophies. Ten Hag wants it all. And I absolutely love that about Ten Hag. And some people are saying 4-0. I mean, I think it could be a masterclass as well. It's great preparation for Sunday, also playing against top opposition. Newcastle will have the rest ahead of Sunday's match, but United have more experience playing those big games. And I do think with Karius playing for Newcastle, even though Newcastle have the rest advantage over us, I do think when we played Newcastle, we were the better team. Newcastle have dropped off a lot in form lately, but I do think the difference, talking of the Newcastle game, I think the big difference that United are going to have over Newcastle ahead of the Newcastle game is Casemiro and Varane. Man United are going to have two players in their team that know what it's like to be in cup finals and win the biggest trophies on the biggest stage in Casemiro and Varane. I think United will win that Newcastle game purely for the level of experience that they're going to have over Newcastle in terms of they're going to have Casemiro and Varane's mentality. They're going to have big winners, born winners, and I think that will be so important for the Newcastle game. So important. Dubravka, he's going to get a winner's medal. He's going to be coming up with the United players to get a winner's medal. Be like, hi Newcastle, but madness. And Alice, if it's 9-0, I'll be holding you to that 100 quid. If it's 9-0, I'll be happy to give you 100 quid. I'll be so happy that I'll generally just, yeah. And let's hope Gamirez isn't sharp after being suspended. True. I was so annoyed that Gamirez wasn't suspended for that game. I think Newcastle dropped off because they didn't have Gamirez, but I'm so annoyed he wasn't suspended for that game. Imagine if they didn't have Pope or Gamirez. It's mad. Lissandro as well. Obviously, he's not won the Champions League, but he's won the World Cup. He knows what it's like to win on the big stage. He's got that mentality as well. But here's to tomorrow, guys. We're going to round up the live stream here. Here is tomorrow of De Jong getting mashed by Casemiro and United winning the Europa League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup treble. You never know, the domestic treble. I mean, here is to a very, very big game tomorrow. Here's to a very, very big week at Manchester United, a final and a Barcelona game. A week I am absolutely excited and buzzed for. A very positive week in and around Manchester United. And what a time it is to be a United fan. And let's hope that we win our next two games, because if we win our next two games, it will be one of the best weeks we've had in United history. Well, maybe post Sir Alex Ferguson history. It'll be fantastic. So here's to that. Here's to a win. Here's to a good summer. Here's to new owners, hopefully. And thank you, everyone, for watching today's video. Please do smash that like button. Please do subscribe down below as well. And, of course, share the video. Hopefully, Barcelona do not have the ref on their side this time. Hopefully, we're up for it. Hopefully, we're buzzing. And we will be back tomorrow night for a Manchester United versus Barcelona watch along. So subscribe if you're not here already. Smash the like for a big week for United. And big up, everybody. See you next time. Thanks for watching and bye.